Welcome to the second series or the second class of a yin yoga series that I've created for all of us to do. This next one is on the liver and gallbladder meridians. So we'll get started with the first pose. The first shape of the day is called shoelace pose. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you have a blanket, make sure that you place something underneath of your sit bones. Kind of get the flesh out of the way to prep yourself for coming into this shape. So what you'll want to do, we're going to take it on one side first. The right leg will be on the floor, and then the left leg is going to cross on top. So kind of move your knee right into the middle of the mat if you can, if your right hip allows that. And then I personally like to open up the space in between my heel and my left hip. Once you've started with that, right, focusing on your breath, breathing in, breathing out, you want to essentially cross over the left leg on top of the right one. So if your knees are in alignment, that's great. If they're not, because you're really tight and you're somewhere along these lines, I would maybe place a block underneath of you, and then this is your shoelace pose for the day, which is absolutely fine. It still stimulates the liver and gallbladder meridian. So it doesn't matter exactly how you take it as long as you kind of come into it somewhat to where you're comfortable in your body. So what we'll do in my case is I'm going to go ahead and try and bring my left knee in alignment with the right knee. And you can kind of see me nestling myself in. Again, making sure that flesh is out of the way and that your sit bones are fully grounded with the mat. And now once we've landed in this position, you can choose to stay here if you want, being mindful of your posture as you're inhaling and exhaling in and out through the nose, Ujjayi breath. Or you can choose to slowly kind of walk yourself down. So if you have any low back sensitivities or tenderness today, I would maybe stay in this position. If you are feeling a little flexible in the lumbar part of your spine, meaning the low back, you can draw your hands forward. So as you're breathing in, slowly walk your hands out. And then slowly come all the way down if you want. And drop your head, your chin. And then slowly relax your shoulder blades. Keep a little bit of a bend in your elbows. We'll be here on this side, breathing fully in through the nose and out of the nose for a minute. Wiggling your toes if you need to, if your lower body starts to fall asleep a little bit. And try and remain still in your physical body and in your breath. So just focus on your inhale and your exhale. Last breath in, and last breath out. Slowly, as you're breathing in, draw yourself forward, and we're going to extend both legs out nice and slow, and just kind of wiggle your feet here. Nice and slow. And then we'll start prepping for the opposite side. So we started on the right side. Now we're coming into the left. So you'll bend that left knee. And again, keep some space in between your right hip and your left heel. And then when you're ready, see, and I'm so much tighter on this side, so I'm probably gonna have to use a block. for this side. So notice how I'm listening to my body. I'm kind of just taking it a shape at a time. One side is normally almost always tighter than the other. So it's okay if you have to use a block or if you have to use a blanket or whatever, so that you're not sitting in pain as you're holding these poses. You want to come into it really slowly, mindfully, even if you know the shape very well. Yin is about approaching the shape slowly and kind of letting your body melt into the shape, nestle into it, essentially. So just take it really slow. And then again, just kind of find what works for you. A block is good here. A book, maybe, if you don't have a block. Also a blanket, a folded up blanket will work as well here. And again, for me, I'm keeping the right block under my right knee because my right hip is a lot more tight than the opposite. So once you have nestled into the lower trunk of your body here, then you can decide, check in with your low back, see if you want to stay upright for the minute that we'll be here, or if you want to kind of cradle yourself down. So I'm choosing to cradle myself down into the position. So big breath in, and then come as low as you need to here. And once you've landed, again, bend your elbows and relax your shoulder blades. Focus on your breath. Big inhale. Big exhale. Maybe closing your eyes here. Long and deep inhale. Long and deep exhale. So the pressure that this pose, this shape creates in the inner thighs is what's stimulating the liver meridian. And it's also pulling on the gallbladder meridian, because that meridian runs through the outer hip and the outer portion of our legs. Last breath in. And last exhale out of your nose. Open your eyes here if you closed them, and then slowly walk your hands back to the midline here. Ooh, gently make your way out of this pose. Extend your leg, and then the leg underneath. Draw yourself back, maybe open up your chest a little bit by drawing the shoulder blades back behind you, and kind of wiggle your legs here, mainly for this portion of your body. All right, last breath in doing this, and last breath out. Following shape is going to be a Sphinx or a seal pose, and I'll let y'all decide which one you want to do. I'll show you both. So this blanket I'm going to fold in half, and then I'm going to place it right around this area just for added comfort for me personally. And for Sphinx pose and both seal pose, we are going to lay on the mat. Kind of get comfortable here, nestle down into the yoga mat. And for Sphinx pose, again, also for seal, but I'll show you Sphinx pose first. So you're gonna hold on to opposite elbow with opposite hand, and then the alignment of your elbows should be somewhat near the shoulder blade right here. So think of a straight line in this part of your body. If you choose to take Sphinx, you're going to extend your arms out or you can bring them into a triangle as you cross your hands within another. You can stay here. This is a light compression in the lumbar section. Think of maybe pulling your elbows kind of in towards your hip. If this feels okay for you, you can take this position, this shape. If you want to take it up a notch and create a little bit more compression here, what you would do is keep your hands extended, and then we'll come into the next pose, into seal. So very slowly lift your elbows up, and being mindful that you don't lock out. You still have to keep a micro bend, meaning a small bend in your elbows. And then check in with your low back here. If you're feeling a pinch anywhere, that's a pretty big sign that you should open up the space in your legs. That should help alleviate that pressure that you're feeling there. So again, you can choose to stay and seal. We will only be here for a minute. I've got the timer going. Or you can come down nice and slow and stay at Sphinx. So it's really up to your low back. It's up to how you're feeling in this. You're definitely going to feel some sensation, but you should not feel pain. So if you are in seal and you're feeling pain, I want you to come down really slowly and stick to Sphinx, and that's okay. We can work up to seal one of these days. Big breath in. Close your eyes. And exhale, maybe 4 counts out and 4 counts in. Relax your shoulder blades, being mindful that you're not crunching down doing this. You want to stay nice and up, nice and straight as you're breathing. Last breath in. Last breath out. Sigh it out of your mouth if you need to. We're slowly going to come all the way down and bring your hands under your forehead and extend your elbows out to the left and right. Bring the right ear to the mat. And maybe try taking a little bit of a windshield wiper in your legs, nice and slow. As you're breathing. So link it in with an inhale and link it with an exhale. Slowly come down back to center, and we'll bring the left ear on the mat. Maybe wiggle your hips a little bit here if you need to, or you can take the windshield wiper variation if you'd like. Find what feels good for you. And we'll slowly bring the chin back to center. The following shape we're going to do is child's pose. I like to do child's pose with the blanket underneath. Pretty much anytime I'm on my knees, I need a blanket. Just me personally, I don't like all that pressure on my knee, and I would rather just protect it. So we'll do 2 variations for child's pose today. So you can choose to open up your thighs as wide as you can go, and you can bring your sit bones to your heels if you want. If you can't really do this where it's uncomfortable in your low back, you can also take child's pose with your thighs together. The main difference here is that your legs are going to be closed. So again, check in with your low back, your mid back, see how that's feeling, and then you make that call based on if you're having like any pain or tension. So I'm gonna take this nice and spread. I'm actually gonna go a little bit wider than my first yoga class. I'm gonna take it just a little bit wider because I'm a little more flexible in my low back today. So I'm able to do that, and in the inner thighs. So once you've kind of landed on this portion here, lower body, then you can walk yourself out. And as you walk yourself out, think of keeping your pelvis or your low back tilted back behind your sit bones here. So instead of coming forward, you want to see if you can stay in this position as much as possible as you sort of let yourself come down, walking your hands out. Nice and slow. Notice how slowly I'm taking the pose. I've been doing yoga for years, and every time I practice this pose, my body shows up differently. So maybe yesterday you were super tight and today you're less tight. So just kind of listen to what your body is telling you to do. Focus on the big, long inhale. 3, 4 counts in. 3, 4 counts out. A little bit of a bend in your elbows and extend your fingers wide. Close your eyes here if you haven't already. We'll only be here for about a minute. We're almost out of it. Focus on the inhale, long and deep. And exhale. Last breath in. Last breath out. Slowly make your way out of the pose. Gently close your legs. And I'm going to take a little bit of a toe curl, toe stretch. Here, you can choose to do this if you'd like. You don't have to. I'm just doing this because my feet really fell asleep. I'm trying to wake them up. You can keep the sit bones at the heels here with the legs closed. And clamp your hands back behind you. Let's open up the chest. Draw your shoulder blades back behind you. A little bit of a mini back bend here. And exhale it out. Shaking it out. Okay, I'm We have two different variations that we can try for the next shape. So either half pigeon or thread the needle. So I'll show you half pigeon first. What you can do here is bring the right, we're gonna start on the right side. So you'll bring the right knee to the most comfortable position that you can. A lot of teachers end up teaching that, you know, this part of your leg is supposed to be parallel with the top of the mat. I really think it's more so about how your body feels. So if that physically hurts you, don't do that. Instead, listen and just kind of check in with where you are. So I really have to like wiggle myself into it on this side because I have a lot more tightness today for whatever reason on my right hip. Something that you can do is grab a block or a book and place it under your right hip, under your right glute. That adds a lot more support, and that's actually what I'm going to do here because it really relieves pain that I was feeling in the actual shape. So tension is normal in these yin shapes. Pain is not. You should not feel pain like burning, a pinch sensation, anything like that. If you feel anything like that, slowly make your way out of the pose and then try the different variation, which I'll show in just a little bit. One more thing we need to check in with is that the left foot is kind of in alignment with this left hip. You can choose to stay here for about a minute. You can also gently make your way down onto your forearms. Or if you're super flexible today, yay, you can come all the way down. It's up to you here. So either three of those works depending on how your body feels. If you're looking at this and you're like, hell no, I'm not gonna do that, it's okay. We have another variation. So place a little blanket underneath of your sit bones here. And for thread the needle, I'm gonna go ahead and come down onto the mat on my back. And we'll start with the right side. So what you'll do is keep a bend in your left knee, and we'll start with the right knee here. So you're going to extend your foot onto the top of your left knee on your quad. So not directly on your knee, but on your quad, on the muscle. Once you have found this kind of four-legged shape, the number 4 type of shape, so sorry, that's what I meant to say, then you can thread your arms through the needle here. So you'll draw your arms through the little hole, and you can choose to stay extended like this with your foot flexed, or you can bring the foot down. It's up to you. What feels nicer for you? As you're in this position, draw the right elbow to kind of extend the right knee and the right hip out gently. So it's not an aggressive push that would actually kind of hurt. It's really slow and mindful. And if this feels okay, relax your shoulder blades down. Big breath in. And big breath out. You can stay here and hold this for a minute. And now that I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and stay in this shape. I just wanted to show y'all both. About 30 seconds left here on this side. Focus on your breath. Going in and going out of your nose. back down ever so slightly here. Last breath in. And last exhale out of your nose. If you decided to thread the needle, draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a little bit of an embrace here. Coming over to the right, coming over to the left. If you decided to take half pigeon, I still want you to come onto your back and draw your knees in towards your chest and take a gentle embrace. And then we'll meet on the left side. Roll yourself forward or come onto your side. And going over, half pigeon on the left side. So can draw that left knee maybe towards your left wrist or hand. And then scoot that right foot down. So think of being heavy in your hips here, not so much the left knee. The left knee should feel light. If you feel a lot of compression and tension in the left knee, try coming in to thread the needle. So that might be a little bit too much for you today, and that's okay. Again, if you're super tight on this side, you can place a block underneath. Keep the heaviness in the hips. Big full inhales drops you down, maybe halfway or all the way down. Check in with the right foot that it's in alignment with that right hip. Maybe take a look back to double check. And on this side, I'm actually okay to take half pigeon over here, but I'm gonna go ahead and come in to thread the needle and finish it off with that, because I did that on the opposite side. So slowly come onto that left hip if you're making your way out of this, or if you just think thread the needle would be easier. Come down onto your low back. Bend the right knee, keep the right foot on the ground, and then you'll bend the left knee, creating a little bit of a 4 shape with your body here, a figure 4. And remember to be mindful that this does not go directly on your bone on your knee, that you're kind of drawing it down onto muscle, onto the quad. And as you take a full big breath in, draw your hands, thread them through the little hole. Pay attention to the right foot here. Does it feel better to be extended or like so? And then come into, bring some attention to the left hip. If you notice that you're kind of crunching in like this because you're super tight, that's okay. But if you're able to nestle that left elbow in and slowly, as you're breathing, draw it out, so out just a little bit, you can try that here. If not, just stay where you are. We're looking for a little bit of built tension in the joints, in the bones, in the ligaments, but we're not looking for pain. You can bring your right heel down if you'd like, or keep it up to you, but we'll be here for about a minute. Maybe 3-4 counts in as you inhale. 3-4 counts out as you exhale. Relaxing the shoulder blades down. gently bring that right foot down, left to meet. Draw your knees in towards your chest. And wiggle over to the left and then to the right. And then our last and final pose here, Shavasana. So I'm choosing to leave this blanket underneath my low back for today. So kind of wiggle yourself into that. If you decide to use a prop underneath of you, you can place something underneath of your knees as well, or underneath of your neck and your head. So take a moment here to extend your body out, almost like a little starfish. Find what feels good in your body. I really like to draw my hands up, my palms, up towards the ceiling and let my feet kind of roll out towards the left and the right. Shake my head a little bit here. Still focused on your inhale here. Movement back into your hands and your feet. Take a full body stretch here. draw your knees in towards your chest. One more gentle embrace here. Come on over to your side. And using your arms, slowly prop yourself up. Oh, that felt good. Fell asleep for a second there. Drawing this blanket underneath at the sit bones. And we'll meet back in a seated meditational pose. Bring your hands to heart center. Close your eyes here. We'll take one big breath in together. And last exhale. Thank y'all so much for checking in with me, tuning in with your bodies, and hope y'all enjoyed class. I'll see you in a few days for another one. Thanks.